Welcome everyone to Cells in a Submarine.
What? No, that's not the show.
Well, I mean, we could always have them join our channel. That'd be fine.
Oh yeah. So guys, we got a new game. We're really excited about it.
What is it?
It's shit. What's the title?
I think it's Kate West and the Vanishing Files.
Yes, Kate West and the Vanishing Files.
Oh, the hype is so real.
It's for the Wii.
Can you hear it in my voice? Oh, the hype doubled down. Oh shit.
So that's what we're going to be playing today on Cells in a Submarine.
Yup.
Oh boy.
It's gonna be
that
great.
sounds like
It
fun.
has a multiplayer mode,
Christ.
Even better.
so we can go head to head or cooperative. Crime and mystery solving.
Oh, God.
All right. Does anyone else want to intro it, or should I run with this?
Go ahead.
You got this, man.
All right. Welcome everybody to There May Be Salt, our fourth and final episode. No, just kidding. We have come around to my pick, the fourth pick, and I had picked, as I mentioned last week, Macross Delta, which is let's go to my notes, a mecha idol slice of life magical girl comedy.
Wow, that is.
Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's anybody want to start?
You just started.
I think you just summed it up. Thanks, everybody,
Are
for
we
watching There
done?
May Be Salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye everyone.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
I
Does
mean,
anyone
there's so
wanna,
much to say, and there's so much not to say.
Does somebody want to rich this one, or
Jeez. So I guess I'll tell everybody the reason why it took so long was it was really our fault. Cells, well, Colibactor and me, Red. I mean, we really just put off watching this for a really long time.
to be fair, I stalled it pretty badly myself by being out of state for like 5 weeks straight. That didn't help.
It didn't help, but we could have probably powered through it at some point, but didn't.
We didn't. We were just like, we could do this, or we could do something we'll actually enjoy.
So it's been like 8 or 9 weeks now, and you guys just finished 7 through 13 yesterday.
8 through
is that
13.
accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
We started watching 7 and went, wait a second, we watched this.
Thank God.
Yeah, it was difficult to get through for us. I'll
So
start.
like I said last week, God, I'm just gonna keep saying last week because it is last week.
Sure.
Apparently.
I watched the first half of the first episode and then skimmed the rest of it and said, this looks like kind of a hilarious mess. This should be a good time. So that was my reasoning, just for viewers' reference, I suppose. But go ahead with how you were gonna start off.
Well, there's a lot going on in this show. And I'm not sure if it's because, like, this is, whatever number in a series, correct?
Sorta.
It is several, part of like kind of 2 different series. There's the Macross. It's all part of the Macross universe, but Robotech also works its way in there. Like Robotech is, I guess
No,
my
so
understanding.
I did my research on this one. I can quickly interject with this because this
Yeah,
is, I
go
think, the
for it.
main purpose I can serve. So the company, Harmony Gold, which created the Macross series back in the 1980s, had a limited run to port a show over to America. They weren't sure which of 3 shows they wanted to port, and they had serious concerns that all 3 would probably bomb in the Western audience, especially in the 1980s when, anime is not a thing over here in the West. So what they ended up doing was they quite literally, the first season of Robotech, which is the show they ended up releasing, is stock footage from all three of those series pieced together, it is a completely separate and distinct thing from Macross. They have no story relation, but there are a lot of similar visual elements and story elements because they literally use some of the same footage. And while the Macross series continued in Japan all the way up through Macross Delta, which came out in 2016, I believe, the Robotech series ended up spawning completely its own thing. And so while there's some similar visual elements, they're completely separate and distinct. Basically, Robotech was, let's splice up some anime and make something that could be appreciated as sci-fi in the West. And it actually did really, really well over here and opened the door for Harmony Gold to start porting in other things through the remainder of the 80s and 90s. Robotech, the Macross Saga, which was the name of the first season, because, you know, the West didn't know back then and it was fine. I mean, it's the same thing of Final Fantasy 3 versus 6 sort of shit. It actually aired, the first episode debuted in 1985. I just had to look up that. And so, again, they're totally distinct series. There's no story relation. They're not in at all the same canon. And by the time you get past the first season of Robotech, there's really no relations besides some visual elements. It started making its own footage instead of some of the stock. Even if I remember right, by the end of the Macross saga, it was that way. But Macross kept going in Japan, and then eventually, strangely enough, I think it was in the early 2000s, Robotech made its way to Japan and really hit it off over there too, which just, you know, huge
That's
conflagration of all the different things going on, and it's kind of hard to keep track of. But yeah, they are completely separate, distinct things. The Macross shows are all in the same extended universe, but Robotech, despite having literal footage from some of the Macross seasons, is completely different.
See, that's interesting. When I was reading up on it, I didn't read extensively, but I was under the impression that like the first 6 or 12 episodes of Robotech were basically a retelling of the first original season of the original Macross series, but evidently that's not the case. So
a little bit, but it's not with the intention of retelling the story. It's because that's the footage they had, more or less.
Yeah, it's a little bit Power Rangers of anime, like
yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. And you know, the main reason I know a lot of that is because I am a huge Robotech fan and not a huge Macross fan.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll the two of us will get around to watching. Well, maybe we'll all watch Robotech. We'll see what happens.
I mean, if it's better than this.
It is.
All right. Sounds like Red October's overflowing with salt. So do you wanna shake a little?
Oh sure. Calibactor's
Sounds
smiling.
like you want to.
She is still here, I promise. Well, let's start with biological folds,
Oh, this is my favorite part.
because
Are you really about to nitpick the science?
okay, so
No, just
so
go.
episodes 1 through 7, we were screaming at the screen because it made no sense, and they tried to explain it, and it made no sense, and then they continued to try and explain things, and I have a serious problem with them using the term folds, because like they use it for a lot of different things that are clearly different.
It's a catch-all term. Folds represents fucking everything.
So this is something that it gets addressed better later in the series. Actually, it's not like I'm not going to defend it, but the terminology it's still unclear. But their music it's like pseudo technological. It's not really a biological thing. Like it sort of is, but I don't know.
But you forgot about the bacteria, man.
The fold bacteria, you can't forget about them. And then the fold receptors, and then the biological folds, and then we sing, and then the biological folds, and then let's not forget the wind. We're riding the wind. Let's talk about the wind.
Ride
Let's say
the wind,
wind every
man.
fucking sentence.
Listen, man, Immelman has the most midichlorians, and just deal with it.
Does that mean I'm one of them Jedi?
space wizards.
But the biological folds.
But my problem also is with the folds is that they use it as their like hyperspace thing too. And so they're talking about these like fold bacteria in the same episode as they're like, okay, we're gonna fold. And I'm like, what are you doing?
There's a mix up there those are two distinct things because they're using they're using a vaguely related technology to fold space-time. I did do some research into this because they also explain this better in some of the earlier Macross series, but they have technology to fold space-time, obviously, but it is vaguely related to the technology that their music uses to affect people and counteract the VAR syndrome. And because we collectively only watched through 13, the VAR syndrome is not explained in the first 13 episodes as much as it is in the later.
It is sort of explained as...
It sort of is, but not fully, obviously. I mean, So, do we want to get into like the plot at all for anyone who hasn't watched the series, or are we gonna assume everyone's watched or watching the series?
We can do a plot summary.
All right.
Someone should try and summarize the plot.
Good luck.
My notes have been getting better with every progressing episode of this we do. So I've been writing ahead of time. So basically, the main idea is that we're following a mercenary subsection of a mercenary unit called Delta Squadron.
They're mercenaries?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a whole plot line. That's a whole plot line is they're mercenaries hired by the by the main government's
nuns?
Yeah, by the nuns they're basically subcontractors.
That's hilarious. It's almost as if they should have mentioned that in the fucking series.
No, they
Clearly.
did. They did extensively in those 13 episodes, I promise you.
It's true.
Maybe we were just shouting at the screen too much.
It is a like there's a whole half an episode that's like basically just about that. But anyway, they are Delta Squadron is like 5 people more or less that are tasked with protecting this idol group called Valkyrie, whose music, which is pseudo-technological, is used to counteract what is essentially biological warfare. There is a mystery. It's not a mystery the whole series, but there is a mysterious virus/disease showing up that randomly makes people go crazy and commit like terrorist acts and shit and just murder each other. And they've found that these girls that can sing really well somehow counteract the effects of the VAR syndrome. And the main plot is basically like figuring out what the VAR syndrome is, who's causing it, how they're causing it, and how they're gonna like counteract it and stop them from continuing to cause it. Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And I think I just want to note, I think the name of the group, Valkyrie, is really interesting because it's kind of a clever double portmanteau of like Valkyrie, but also because of the fact that in Japanese the L and R are not really distinct letters. It's like it's simultaneously a portmanteau of like Valkyrie and also Var-Cure because they spell it Walkure.
Yep.
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yep.
I think it was clever.
It is clever. Actually, I have a note on that as well because there's the character who they translate. His name is Royd.
Mm-hmm.
And that character's name is actually supposed to be Lloyd, not Royd. It's a
It's supposed to
difference
be
of
what?
ROID and LLYOD.
You're cutting in and out.
I am?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
I
it's all
assume
here
you said
on the
Lloyd.
footage.
All right. Yay, technology.
Here, I'll just put it in the chat so you can see what I'm talking about.
No, I already interpreted what you meant, but yeah. Yeah, that's
I misspelled. It's LLOYD.
yeah.
Royd.
Yeah, there's some interesting
Choices.
names and things, but well, and they are, you know, the series is not portraying, it's not Japanese people. It's not, more specifically, it's like the Windermerians are based on
On the beer, man.
they're basically a Germanic people with subtle allusions to the Nazis.
Maybe not so subtle.
Yeah.
I do actually kind of want to talk about the cast of side characters a little bit.
Side characters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have the brain slug girl from the brain slug planet. We have the hat slug girl from the hat slug planet.
Wait, what?
There's a girl who wears a hat on the side of her head, and I'm like, she's
You're
just
gonna have
covering up a brain slug, isn't she? I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Trying to find a good picture.
Which one are you talking about?
Oh, who knows?
No, so these are the support people for the mercenary group.
Cutting in and out again. I can't.
Mercenary
didn't hear any of
group support.
Well, I assume you mean Kaname Buccaneer, the red-headed girl with the hat on the side of her head, or did you mean?
No, she's part of the singers. No, I'm talking about the people who don't sing.
Oh. I think I know who you're talking about.
The
I
brain
was
slug
trying to
girl.
find a good picture.
They're,
but I
though you're
can't
talking
find a
about the
great one.
really side characters.
Yeah.
Like, that have, like,
Nothing to do with the plot. I just thought they were
a
hilarious.
half dozen lines in the show.
Again, I just
sit
thought
at the
that
desk.
They were hilarious.
They sit at the desk in episode, like, 2 or 3 and then say, oh, you can go in now.
Pretty much.
Hey, they're there
The
for
best
other
part
things.
of the show.
Okay, no, it's been a while since I watched, but you're right, I forgot they sit in the bar and talk shit. It's pretty
The
good.
best part of the show.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had that.
No.
I've got a lot that
So-
I could unload, but
No, and everybody has made it prior, like, generally we don't talk a whole lot about what we watch until we talk about it, but partially this series seemed to make some people mad, but also it's been like 9 weeks, so shit was bound to leak out. So I'm not going to speak for anyone else, but it seems pretty apparent that the three of you were not thrilled.
Oh yeah, I hate this. Absolute hate.
I was miserable the entire fucking time. I did not want to watch it at all after the first
Alright.
episode.
This was like
I actually
especially. Oh, go on.
I actually enjoyed some parts. There were some genuine moments where I was like, wow, I'm having a good time now. What happened?
You had alcohol.
I think this 10
So
seconds
I'm going to
having,
throw down the gauntlet
Huh?
and be the guy that says, I love the hell out of this.
Of course you did. You needed some fan
Okay.
service social.
Like, it's not perfect by any means. It's cheesy as all hell. The premise is pretty goofy.
It's so
There's a lot of weird stuff, but I think there's also a lot of stuff that it does incredibly well. Certainly better than any of the other 3 things we've watched.
Certainly better. You cut
And
out.
like it sounds like I don't want anyone to think,
You
I
there?
picked something that I already like and I'm
Uh-oh.
going to defend it to the
Ruh-roh.
end. Like, I genuinely
there?
expected to not
You there, Spencer?
enjoy this, but I
Oh my God.
enjoyed
We lost both
the
of
ever loving hell out of most of the episodes, most of the scenes.
Oh my god.
I don't want to just like rant on
Either
this,
that or we were
but so anybody can like duck in and talk
we
about
cut out.
any of this as I bring it up. But I think first and foremost, I think a lot of the art is pretty great. Establishing
Well,
like a bunch of the establishing shots, pretty much all of the notable establishing shots
our
are
internet connection cut out.
incredible in terms of setting a scene without having to like explain what's going on.
There we go.
So I don't know if you noticed, but our
The
internet
callabacter
connection
dropped
cut
out of the call so she doesn't have to listen to me.
No, our internet connection cut out.
Oh,
We both went out, and you guys just kept talking, which is fantastic.
I
oh,
wasn't
okay.
talking. I was
Well,
waiting for you to come back.
I only saw Callabacter go offline. I didn't see Red October go offline. So
Well, luckily,
how much did you miss?
Oh god, I don't even remember, but it doesn't matter.
It was
Like
a
the whole
good,
fucking
solid
show.
minute, I think. I don't know why Spencer has posted a cat link and a cat fish.
It was from my
It's
it
a
was from my
mercat.
search for pictures of Hat Girl, and these literally showed up as I was looking for.
Oh, good.
Mercat
of
is
these.
my waifu.
You're not wrong.
I was disappointed that they went for mercat instead of catfish.
I think that would have been too on the nose, but I appreciate the thought.
I'd watch Catfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so where did I cut out?
Oh, you were talking about.
You heard me say I liked it.
Yes, I heard
Alright.
you say that. What else did we hear? I don't know, man.
Let's just roll from there. So, jump in at any time if you disagree or agree or whatever else.
Oh my god.
First and foremost, I think a lot of the animation, a lot of the art is, well, not so much the animation, but a lot of the art is really incredible.
Oh yeah,
I think
it is
like
superb. Actually, I'm gonna disagree with you on the animations. I thought that they were phenomenal.
some of them are great. Some of it is, I mean, it's animation. There's always like it's almost impossible to find a great anime that doesn't have some cheap animation tricks done that look a little bit shoddy just because they wanted to save money on something, and I can't blame them for that at all.
Oh no.
So if you ignore the usual cutting corners stuff, it looks pretty damn good. But more so, like multiple times in my notes, I have that the establishing shots for a scene are just fucking incredible. They are so good at establishing exactly what a place is like without having to explain a single thing. And likewise, I think this will roll into the plot a little bit, but I think they do a really good job of almost never doing an exposition dump. They very rarely explain basic stuff about the world. Like the world building is all done in the art. Like you never have to explain like, hey, what are these people?
Yeah,
oh,
we're
they've
going
got
to the
gill.
cat planet now.
Well, I mean,
No, they
like,
didn't explain that. They were just like,
Yeah,
we're going to this planet and it has people.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah, I mean, like the big one for me was just, hey, these people have gills. They look a little different, and oh, they can swim. I don't need somebody to explain that they can swim underwater. They just clearly can. You didn't have to explain that, and you didn't. And that is something
except for the lead girl of the band.
I don't recall that.
Well,
But anyway.
she just like lays underwater during the
At all times.
during
Oh,
a festival,
that-
and it's like, can you breathe?
Yeah, there's some
How
weird
can you
stuff
breathe?
there. That is a plot line that gets resolved later. That even when it is resolved, is not particularly super well explained, but it does make more sense. But yeah, I will say in the first 13 episodes, Kumo Kumo is weird. She's just a weird girl, and you don't understand why.
Yeah,
But-
no.
but-
She's like
but
pseudo
social-
time I'm
abusive, and
going,
it's
what
really
is her
weird.
deal?
Yeah.
Social, I noticed you called her Kumo Kumo, so she must be your waifu, right?
Oh
No.
no.
I mean, that's how she's referred. They're all everybody in the show is basically referred to by their like nicknames the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think they do. I think there's a lot of stuff like that they do really well that they could have very easily done very poorly. That things that are common for animes to just, exposition dump or some shit like that, or skimp on establishing shots. Like
Sure.
to even talk about like the cinematic aspects of an anime is like kind of a rarity to begin with, I feel like. So, special props to them for that.
Yeah. Okay. I will also talk about actually something else that I liked. I liked that they did not make Hayate a complete dumbass.
Yeah. He's not a complete
Ichika.
dumbass, but he's also not completely competent either.
No, but he's not Ichika levels of dumb, where he will just stand there taking shots for no reason. Like he can actually pilot, and he actually has battlefield awareness, and again doesn't just take shots until his shield goes down and is like, oh
Lost
no.
This
So,
is going well.
like,
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed watching.
Did they go offline?
The
They still look like they're online to me.
The robot fights.
They look like they're online.
And especially the ones
Put up a
when they
technical
were
difficulties
primarily as
bit when we
planes.
get here.
I thought that was really well done. I really liked it. Seeing more in space where the maneuvers can be a little cooler. Well, they're supposed to be. It makes more sense when they're in space. How they can maneuver things, but I'm just talking now. I don't know what I'm doing.
We disconnected.
Oh, we DC'd.
Or I did.
Well, if you did, I did too. Yeah, I'm out of here. So I'll keep going, because it'll be hilarious. Fuck Charter, man. Why is it today that it's now having problems? This doesn't make any sense.
I wonder if they got hit with
I
a storm or
know.
something.
Well,
Not unlikely.
when we get back in, I'll tell them all about how Hayate is not a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell.
No, it's supposed to be 65 and sunny.
No, that's getting cut out.
Well, I just realized that I IM'd them, and that's not really going to help if they don't have internet.
Sorry,
There
we cut out, yeah, as you could probably tell.
Yeah.
Did you lose internet or something
Yeah,
else?
we
Yeah.
lost internet.
Oh, no.
Do we want to postpone this or do we want to keep rolling?
I mean, we can keep rolling. I'm happy to do some editing, too, if you guys want to have me edit
Yeah.
the audio.
I was going to say, I was just going to put up a technical difficulties sign. It'll be fine.
Sure, we can do that, too. You could just have us talking over you guys. That'll be hilarious.
That'll work.
Fuck, we DC'd again.
Is your whole, is like your modem going out or is it something
I'm pretty sure something's going on with Charter.
cool?
Let me... Yeah. Anyways, I was talking about how Hayate is not a dumbass.
Yeah.
Doesn't take shots, of whiskey before he gets in his IS. Sorry, plane.
It's okay. They're all ISs.
Yeah, we are in an outage area right
Okay,
now.
yeah,
with-
we're having outages.
So,
Yay!
thanks, Charter.
Um,
Fuck you.
But so I really enjoyed that. I actually also felt a little something when what's his name? Wesser?
Messer.
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 Because he's messy.
Messy. He's messy,
No,
man.
it's Messer, like it's German for knife.
Yeah,
But-
I got that.
But joking.
We were having fun.
Social,
I
stop
know.
being so literal. God.
Anyways,
No fun allowed.
like he gets killed. Also, that kid in the pretty early on, where there's the what's his name, Master Hellman, is like, hey, I'll hang with you because you're young. And then the kid gets killed, and I'm like, oh well. I mean, I saw that coming, and I saw Messer dying too. But I don't know. I felt a
It's
little
not-
something. I think I felt more for the kid dying. Because, it was his first mission and he was 3 days from retirement and shit.
I feel nothing when children die.
My only
I
complaint
definitely felt more.
about Messer dying was that he didn't take anybody out.
Well, I mean, that
I wanted
I'm
him
gonna.
to take
I thought
somebody
that was.
out.
I actually liked that. I think that was a good subversion of the typical like suicide mission trope of I'm gonna have a glorious death where I do damage so that the rest of the team can win the fight.
Oh no, I didn't want him to do that. I just wanted him to kill fucking red hair guy.
Temper tantrum guy.
Yeah, that guy.
I just wanted anyone to kill him, including his allies. Like, I was just like, please, someone just like cut his head off.
Push him off the scaffolding, please.
Like, don't fucking catch him. Let him fall to his death. God, we don't need him. He feels nothing.
Sorry.
I really
Our hate
like
overflows for that guy.
I really like the characterization of all the Windemirians, and I think I do wish there were a few more. It is kind of sparse how much they cut over to the like Windemirian troops working on this, that, or the other thing. I think it was smart of them not to shoot it as like a one-sided thing of, oh, we only see the Windemirians when they show up to fight.
Oh yeah,
I wish there was more of it. But at the same time, like I think they did an excellent job of playing the like a variety of things, both the like interpersonal, the fights and things like that, and the variety of political opinions. And
Yep.
boy, do we sacrifice the prince so that we can win the war. And
Yeah.
even just like the debates over how long they only live 30 years. The king is like 32.
No,
Oh no,
he's 35.
the king's like 35. One of the other fighter pilots is
Hellman.
32, I believe.
Yes.
And they like, even when you're going, these guys are scum. Why are they trying to like exterminate people because they're not Aryans, but
We're
like
the
at the same
inheritors.
but at the same time, like they're still good characters. Like it doesn't even take that much. They do a very good job of establishing who the individuals, like each of the individuals are.
Oh, yes.
And they're not even super tropey either.
I have to say two of my favorite characters in this show are the like Master Hellman, the old fighter pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say the name they gave him in the translation because it's Lloyd. For being like, hey man, this isn't what we agreed to do. Or this is what you were ordered to do. You need to back the fuck off. And
one of my favorite things.
Prince.
One of my favorite things about Royd, and it gets back to one of those
Lloyd,
one of the first things that I said, is that like I love the shots of him in his room, and he's just got this array of glasses behind him, and they say nothing about it. They do not mention it, not one single word. He's just got all these glasses that he picks through and like wears different ones. And that was it was so good. It's such a tiny thing, and they could have omitted it entirely, but just kind of like to establish the kind of guy that he is, I thought that was great.
You notice on the last episode when the king kicks it, he immediately changes glasses.
I don't recall that directly, but
he takes off like their gold colored frame,
mm-hmm.
and he puts on a silver colored frame,
mm-hmm.
and then he immediately is like, all right, this is the mode I'm in. We're victorious, but the king is dead. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it was after the credits that you see that.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved that. I hated the show, man.
I'm trying
so
to figure.
Much about
I'm
it.
trying to I'm trying a little bit to get you to say what it is because I don't feel like you've disagreed with anything that I've liked thus far. So I'm trying to figure out where we differ.
Calivactor can
I
kind of
think-
back
I
me
think
up. I think it was honestly trying to explain the science, the terms that they were using, the fold for literally everything. And honestly, it was the singing. Like, it just made no sense.
I mean,
Would
it's
you-
goofy,
you would
and I
agree.
just wrote it.
I got annoyed that there was too little explanation of the world. I mean, I don't need exposition, like awkward exposition from what was that? The second show that we watched. It was I can't even remember the title. I just want to
Blast of
Stand
Tempest,
in-
thank you.
There we go. Blast
Stand
of
in
Tempest.
the road.
Like standing there and just being like, yes, now I need to explain what's going on. Like
To nobody.
we don't.
Explain to this open road.
Like I appreciate that they didn't have that.
It was good.
That
yeah.
was good, but like there were points where it's just like I don't know what the fuck is going on, and by the time you try to explain it like 8 episodes in, I really don't fucking care. You had your chance. I hate everything.
It was like, why the wind?
So there was it
It
was it
was-
not? You weren't able to suspend your disbelief? Is that the?
Not
Like you
without a
didn't-
few drinks in me.
So I think also part of it
no,
is
I'm not- it's not like an
dialogue
accusatory
can
thing.
Get so repetitive.
They try to explain the same things over and over in really terrible, obnoxious ways, and then the things that you actually have questions about, they never really address. And that probably is what bothers me the most, is the stuff that they tried to explain just got really old, and I hated the way they explained it. Biological folds. And,
Riding the wind.
like, what the fuck actually?
Royd.
I mean, the riding the wind thing is like a whole Windemirian. Like I thought that was, even when it wasn't fully explained yet, I thought that was kind of fun because the Windemirians get fucking pissed because he's like, he's stealing my wind. How fucking dare this scum who's not the inheritor of the protoculture use this pseudo magical thing to beat me at my own game. I thought that lent a lot of like additional fun tension without a whole lot of extra work or exposition dumps or anything like that. I don't know. I have a tendency to be very forgiving.
Honestly infuriating.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, the wind, and they just kept repeating the wind.
It got really old eventually. Like, it was cringy at the beginning, and then as it kind of got, like, just doing it, as I, like, rode the wind more, like, it was like, okay, if you don't keep talking about it every other fucking sentence, then I could appreciate it a little more, but...
It's like Dragon Ball Z, where they're just standing around talking about how he's powering up for 3 episodes.
I see. That's super weird. I didn't feel any of that at all.
Well, but they're like,
And I am definitely the guy who would nitpick the hell out of Dragon Ball Z syndrome. I love to rag on that, and I didn't feel that at all.
I mean,
I'm completely with Oliver on that one.
Yeah, they just keep talking about how it's happening, and I'm like, I can see that.
I mean,
it's
maybe I
happening.
was
You
just
don't need to
riding the
say it
hype.
every time.
I got pretty invested in
Hashtag
the
too
characters. I mean, this is everything about this show is our subjective experiences. There's no right or wrong ansers.
No,
So
clearly there is.
I'm-
Majority rules here.
This is their
The right answer is to buy from our sponsors. Link in the description to our sponsors.
Yeah, sure.
We don't have sponsors.
If you would like to
Sponsored
sponsor
by the
us,
Rooster Teeth store.
I could do that.
Oh god.
But like I got, because of all of the things that I felt like they did, all the small things that are so often done wrong that they ended up doing really well, like, not dumping exposition and stuff like that. I got pretty invested in the characters and stuff pretty quick. I can't say that the plot line is Like, obviously, the plot line could use some work. It's not particularly complex. It's not particularly well explained on multiple occasions. But if you, it's a bit of hop on the train and don't ask where it's going and enjoy the ride.
Oh
At
my
least
God.
it was for me. Like,
Sorry,
because
I just remembered something.
because I got on the train early and I just said, let's see where this goes. And even when I was like, well, I don't really understand why they're doing this or how it's happening, but I'm enjoying how they are delivering it.
Okay, fair. But now I just
Go.
I have to say it now. Dude, what
Go.
the fuck is up with jellyfish in this fucking...
Jellyfish doesn't even taste that good. It tastes like fucking
delicious.
jellyfish. It's not good.
What?
Have you? I mean, I've had jellyfish. It's not that good.
Well, but they're mer people.
Anyway,
They
no,
like jellyfish.
like the captain dude likes jellyfish, and he talks
Yeah, but
about
they've
it
been
constantly. And
They've
it's-
been established. They've been hanging out in their mecha base on this planet for.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Oh man, you better cut that. Better cut that image in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna send a picture of our chat into the video right around here, or somewhere earlier if I can't find this moment again.
Did that? I mean, I thought the jellyfish thing was just kind of weird and goofy.
I mean,
I didn't.
I wouldn't have minded it so much if they were like, oh yeah, I mean, God, it was just that it kept getting brought up, and
Well,
it would have
would
been
you have
better
had the same-
if they had just been like, randomly, the captain. They don't ever say anything about him loving jellyfish. Except for, maybe the times where they're like, oh yeah, he just talks about jellyfish all the time. And I'm like, wait, but we've never seen him talk about it. And then when they're like launching, he's like, all right, let's go and do this so that we can go back and get some jellyfish back at base.
Would you have had the same reaction to that if it had not been jellyfish? If he had said, "I love ramen."
Yeah.
I would have had the same reaction.
Because it
Yep.
just
L-
they keep slapping in your face. It's like it's the whole wind thing again, and the
Yeah,
whole
it's-
biological folds. Like they
It's,
keep
this dude loves jellyfish a lot.
they.
It just felt like a character quirk to me.
It's-
It wasn't like
But that
it
suggests
was
that
a
people
little
have
odd, but it
characters
never
in the
offended
show.
me.
Well, okay. I'm gonna disagree with Calibacter on that, but it's a quirky character thing when it's done in such a way like with Lloyd. He's got all the glasses. They never say anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
With the captain, they're constantly talking about jellyfish, like every episode.
I mean, he uses
we
it's.
couldn't go an
I-
episode without somebody mentioning jellyfish.
I think in part it's a writing tool for them to, because there's a lot of characters in this show. Like for all intents and purposes, you have to know who 3 dozen people are, which is a hard thing to do, and it's hard to establish the differences between people, especially in a 26 episode show, let alone in the first 13 episodes. So I felt like it was a writing tool for them to, one, just partially establish a character, but also to give him a way to, because they play on the like budding romance between the captain, whose name I forget, and
It's a dare
and
or
Kaname,
something.
who is sort of semi-retired from the group.
Yeah,
And-
sort of, but not really.
And I think I just thought it was like sort of half played for laughs, half played for, that's just his thing. Like it's just a weird thing he's into. I don't know.
I would have liked it if it had been more subtle, is really what I'm getting at. If, they had not drawn so much attention to it, where people aren't always talking about, because it's a character quirk if he's the one who mentions it. It's annoying when everybody's talking about it. Does that make sense?
I mean,
Like,
I mean, a
if-
little, but I
like,
feel
if-
I do think they could have played it down a little bit, but at the same time,
let me put it
because
to you this way.
they have been living on this planet for this ocean planet. They're living on Waterworld, and they eat lots of jellyfish, and it's like part of their everyday lives.
Well-
the natives are. One of the native guys runs the bar that they all hang out at that specializes in
who's
jellyfish
also a
dishes.
pilot, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
Whose family is, into scamming people. They were the fucking jacks of all trades. Like, Jesus Christ, they did everything.
Hey, if you're, I mean, they could have introduced more characters. Would you have preferred that?
Anyway, no, let me put it to you this way. Imagine if, in the Windermere side, every time Lloyd changed his glasses, somebody was like, Lloyd changed his glasses.
I mean, I get
Wouldn't
what you're
that be
saying,
annoying?
but I don't think those are the same thing. I think if he ate if it was the apples, then sure, but it's not a character. Royd is the only one who has who deals with glasses. Everyone deals with jellyfish. It's part of the world that they live on.
But the captain
everyone eats jellyfish.
loves jellyfish.
Hey guys, guess what? I don't know if you quite caught this while watching the show, but I think the captain really likes jellyfish.
I'm not really understand. Like, I don't want to continue to harp on this.
Yeah,
I don't think it's.
I think we've.
I don't
run
think
this
it's
one
that
to the
big.
ground.
Agree to
I don't
disagree,
think-
please.
Yeah, I don't think that this is that big a deal, but I can understand if it bothered you.
It just got annoying, and a lot of other things got annoying too. So this was just another thing.
Again, the second half that we watched was a lot better.
I think it's because I made really strong G&Ts.
She did do that. I yesterday said, the only way I'm going to be able to talk about Macross Delta, and the only appropriate way to talk about it, is if I'm doing it with a hangover.
Do you have a hangover?
I don't have a hangover.
You're doing it wrong.
That's
man.
too
No,
bad.
I'm doing it all
Well-
wrong.
Should have gotten up at 3 a.m. and slammed half a bottle of vodka.
Yep, that's correct. That would have been the right thing to do.
Spencer, I know you said you didn't have a whole lot to add, and you had watched this series before I even suggested it. Do you have anything you want to interject with? Anything we
I
haven't
was just
addressed
looking.
yet?
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest, not to be inflammatory, but I don't think there's one single thing about this show that's good, including the art. I was just looking back on the chronology of the Macross saga, and I was looking to see how much of it I read, because there was one. I've been saving this one. There's a reviewer, pretty good one that reviews a lot of anime that has something to say about Macross Delta that I'm gonna quote. But I want to first say that I was looking back on the series, and I have not seen every Macross, but I've seen most of them. I've seen the original, which was Super Dimension Fortress Macross, which is a pretty rad name, let's all be real.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome.
I saw the Plus OVA. I saw Macross 7, but I didn't watch all the accompanying movies. I didn't see Zero, but I did see Frontier and all of the Frontier movies. And then I saw Macross 30, which is a game. I saw some of the gameplay because I was curious about the plot. Delta is a direct sequel to Frontier and 30, so I came into this knowing a lot about the series and what was going on. And perhaps it's just because I've seen all of Robotech and I've seen a lot of Macross that I have the viewpoint I do. But this show was so incredibly back to formula that it's just maddening to me. I'm going to quote a really good reviewer on this one. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit because his review is 20 pages long, but I'm going to read his
wow, that's some
TLDR at the end.
Who is this? Who's it?
Mihashi is
All right.
his alias. Good anime reviewer. Anyway, his TLDR is narrative formulas, conventions, archetypes, genres. In the event that a fictional narrative turns into a series, then later a franchise, a brand of its own, so to speak, it comes as no surprise that eventually the formula which had more or less distinguished the work from others will arrive at a point wherein it is forced to change completely, adapt to contemporary circumstances, attempt to maintain status quo, dissolve into a state of total irrelevancy, or end for good and become fondly remembered by many faults and all. Such is the case with Macross Delta. And this show is so incredibly formulaic on bad anime conventions and on the Macross series as a whole that I just find it sort of unwatchable. It's not objectively bad. Like, Mihashi gave it a 5 out of 10. I think that's a really solid score. It's very middling. It's not by any means the worst thing I've ever seen, but I find it more or less unwatchable and very hard to comment on just because it's so generic to the series. And when Robotech exists, which is this without anime conventions, I like anime. I watch a lot of it. I find a lot of anime tropes really annoying, and I don't like seeing them in shows. And this is just really, it's formulaic and it's tropey, and that's kind of all I have to say about it. And so even the things that, like, are objectively not bad, like, I'm not going to say the art's atrocious. I just don't really think it's great. You know, it's still, there's other segments of Macross that have done it much better and that didn't feel like they were just trying to squeeze it into the Macross formula.
Yeah, I think I mean, I'm not going to deny that it's tropey. That's for sure.
I mean, I
haven't
didn't really
watched any of the other Macross, so I tend to avoid like hypertropified anime as a rule, but like I said, I think I just got drawn into this pretty naturally, pretty early, and just kind of rode the train.
Rode the
to
wind,
keep with the
you mean?
It's
Yeah,
also
sure.
funny
I
because
just went with what
Frontier
it
is
was,
much
'cause
better.
I mean, I can't speak to any of that. So, like, if you say that this is, to the formula of Macross, I will absolutely believe you. I don't know. I personally I thought that a lot of the stuff was really great. I thought the tropes were overpowered by some of the things that did really well. I got hype on the music, although, to be fair, after 26 episodes, could have used a few more tracks.
Yeah.
Even
Not wrong.
even like, I also felt like the magical girl transformation was pretty hilarious. They could have, done it more than one different way. Like, every time they did the magical girl transformation, it was the exact same footage, like same 10 seconds spliced,
Yep.
which was
Yeah.
pretty funny on its own. But like, I got teary-eyed numerous times in this show. Like, I was very invested. I can't even isolate particularly why, because I think like you said, it's very tropified. It's not particularly unique or really special in any one single way, but it sucked me in.
My thing is, like, and to each his own. If I'd come into this totally blind, I think I would have enjoyed it more. And I felt that way the first time I watched it, and rewatching it, I definitely liked it a lot less than my first viewing. But I gotta overall just say, like, other segments of Macross didn't really feel like a tropey anime. It felt like a really good war story set in the future. And that's kind of what Robotech went for too. And so watching a, like, sort of weeby version of a show I really liked just wasn't really in my palate. Again, if I came into this blind and if I'd maybe just been able to go along for the ride, that would have been fine. But, like, of all the segments of Macross, I think Frontier, which is the predecessor to Delta, I think most people would probably agree with me that Frontier was probably the best and was one of the most watchable and was one of the, like, most just down-to-earth segments by comparison. I mean, Robotech is still much more Western, and this is still much more Eastern, but it was still much more, like, down-to-earth, sort of, grounded. And so as a sequel to that, especially, I just think this really fails. And again, I'll admit that I think of the four of us, I'm coming into this with the most bias and the most preconceived notions, but it's also,
that's what I was going to ask, and I can't blame you for any of that, obviously, but do you think a decent chunk of that of your disagreeability to what you were seeing was, well, this isn't what I expected or wanted from something that had this name?
Sort of. I mean, I think a lot of the writing was really bad, personally. I thought most of it was just kind of, repetitive.
It's not great. It's a simple plot.
It's not great writing. It's a simple plot, and I wouldn't have enjoyed that either way. But coming from a series that has historically had some pretty solid writing, it was exceptionally annoying. Like, I'm not going to say that if I'd never seen any other Macross, I wouldn't recommend this to somebody. But having seen other Macross, I especially wouldn't recommend this as the point to start, which is really funny because I definitely recommend this series to somebody. I'd say, go watch 7 or go watch Frontier. They're both good. The Plus OVA is old as fuck now, but it was still good.
Yeah,
it's definitely one of the longest lived series out there. That's for sure.
Yep.
It's
1982.
It doesn't have as many entries, obviously, but it's almost as old as what's it called? It's the big mecha one that everybody knows.
Gundam.
Gundam. Thank you. Yeah. I think Gundam started like 78.
I'm just about to look that up.
Yeah, the show had I don't know.
Just go ahead and say it. What
What
were you gonna say?
And then there
79.
are the things that just make it so infuriating.
Yeah.
I don't need to be
Again.
reminded every episode that this dude loves jellyfish.
I don't want to be like inflammatory or anything to it, and like I'm not gonna say that Social, I respect the fact that you enjoyed this. I'm not gonna say that your experience is
No.
invalid,
Oh,
of course,
boy.
but
Did we
like
lose it?
in my
Probably.
opinion,
Yeah.
it's just a really
Well, thanks,
tropey show
Starter.
with not very good writing
Thanks.
and okay art, and you can
kinda
get better in
waiting
the same
around.
vein elsewhere.
Yeah,
So
I'm
why
waiting
would I
for
be
it to
here?
say that we don't have
And
any internet.
I just kind of like I'm left without a whole lot to say. This has definitely been a quiet episode for me, just
What
because
is
like I'm
Charter's
not
dealio
angry.
today?
It's not objectively like really, really terrible or poor. It has its moments. I'm not gonna say it's bad art.
No,
It's
better
not
not say
bad
that.
music. It's not. There's nothing
Jason's
about it
actually
that's
up, though.
just
Oh, yeah.
straight up terrible, like Blast of
Oh, there we
Tempest
go.
or like Infinite
Cool,
Stratos.
finally.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely go into.
we
I
are
went into this with the same
confirmed
attitude
out.
I went into those of. This could
Yay. I
hope
probably
nobody
be really
notices
bad, and
that
I
now.
might as well enjoy
Oh,
it the
I'm
best I
sure
can.
they will.
yeah,
It'll be
no,
funny,
like
though.
it's not.
We'll come back in.
It's not
We'll be like,
objectively
"All right, well,
bad. It's not something
there's
where I
Sol.
want to
Thanks
give
for
it
joining
like a
us,
1 out
everybody.
of 10. I think a 5 out of 10 is a really, really solid score for this because it's incredibly middling.
Watch, it's probably
But
out
again,
now.
middling is kind of a bad place to be
Oh,
because
God,
I
it'd be
feel like
annoying.
something exceptionally good, it's really good. Why wouldn't you want it? Something exceptionally bad, I'm a man who likes to live for an experience. I'll experience something really
There we
terrible
go.
just to know what it was. Something very middling. If I can get better or significantly worse somewhere else, why am I here? And that's how I feel about this, and I just don't have a whole lot to say about it, especially in the context of Macross as a whole.
Yeah, I think all of that is fair. I would probably give it a. I don't really like numerical scores. I don't think it does a good job of.
Me neither, but
Yeah, I think I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. I think, like I've been saying for the last hour, I think there's some things that it did really well. Oh, they're gone.
No,
They're
we're
back.
I'm here.
We're back.
We're back.
they're here. It's fine.
I think there's some things that it did really well, and I appreciate for that. But I certainly like if somebody asked me, "Hey, I'm not super into anime, but I'd like to get in. What should I watch?" There's no way in hell I'm pointing them at this.
Oh God,
No.
no.
But that again, like if I just wanted some schlock to watch that's just kind of fun, that's exactly what this was for me.
All right. Well,
yeah.
are we on to the is there salt portion?
I think so. Does anyone, unless anyone else has anything else?
No.
I contributed the soul thing, the two things that I set out to contribute: the words of a reviewer I like, and the recommendation to go watch Robotech instead. No, I don't have any salt. I just wish it was better. And yeah, I don't care enough about it to have salt. Watch something else, because Macross is really a much better series than this.
Galabactic?
I guess that's a little salty.
A little bit, but, we'll take that as a grain of salt. I thought this show was a steaming pile of garbage. I hated it. It made me miserable. I thought, for the most part, it had no redeeming qualities. The parts that it could have done well were drowned out by the repetitive nature and the cringy writing that really did nothing for the story that I think they were trying to tell, although they were never clear about, what the goal... it was just so poorly fucking written, and it was just a nightmare to watch, and I hated it, and I'm incredibly salty about it, and I wish that I had, spent those hours of my life doing something else.
Okay, I'll go next. Having talked about it and complained a lot, I'm a lot less salty now than I was going into this. But, I still have a lot of salt. There were things that I think were done well. As we've talked about, there was a lot that I did like. But, again, at the end of the day, I can't recommend this to anybody. People who have watched anime, people who haven't, there's no person on this earth that I will say, yeah, you should go watch Macross Delta. Unless I'm doing it to torture them. Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
All right.
Salty.
Well,
lightly salted.
Lightly salted. I don't really have any salt for this. I think I got exactly what I think I got more than I deserved out of this pick. It went better than I expected. I will definitely not deny that there's a lot of kind of tropey, boring, blah, whatever aspects about it. I think if you wanted to watch a singing anime, you should watch like Idolmaster or Love Live or something like that. I think if you wanted to watch a mecha anime, there's a wide variety of shit you should watch instead.
Yeah, like Infinite Stratos.
I don't think. Yeah, definitely.
Season 2 gets better.
I don't think there's anything that this show does shockingly well or anything like that really makes it really worth watching. But that said, I had a good time, and there's no salt.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Red, I think this is the part where you tell us our next pick.
Oh, man.
So viewers can look forward to something in 4 months.
So I have been thinking about this for a very long time because I am stuck between a number of shows. And I think I'm going to go with the one, I decided early after watching this that the next pick was going to be a good show.
All right.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. If you like it and we don't, what's going to happen?
Well, so...
friendship will fall apart.
I'm going to go for... I'm going to do Girls on Panzer.
Oh, boy. All right.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers for the December episode.
It is easily watchable.
Well, we could review that.
And
next episode.
So we'll that's what
Are
we're
we
gonna
watching
watch
the first season?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's all that long, is it?
It's like 12 or so episodes.
Yeah.
I think.
I think they're pretty short too. I think they're under 20 minutes.
I think they're full episodes.
Yeah, I think they're full episodes.
Maybe I'm.
So hopefully
there's like Girls on
12
Panzer
episodes.
Little Army, I think.
Maybe.
That's not what we're watching.
Nope, it's full episodes.
Yeah. And it's like 12 or so. I can't quite remember the exact number, but it's a full season.
12.
And if you like girls and if you like tanks, you're in for a real treat.
We'll see about that next time.
About that.
On There May Be Salt. Join us one day in the future
It'll be
when
soon.
we record Girls und Panzer.
2 weeks.
We'll see.
We'll see.
All right.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, I'm going to stop.